Fusebill offers the most advanced NetSuite integration available for recurring billing. This integration is a great way to allow Fusebill to manage a sub-ledger of all the ledgers tied to your NetSuite that are involved with your recurring billing. These ledgers have a lot of volatility. Fusebill takes care of feeding all of that information into your NetSuite instance, so you can focus on other elements of your business. Fusebill's integration to NetSuite is direct, which means you associate your Fusebill account directly to a specific NetSuite account. You can also target a default subsidiary. Fusebill supports the NetSuite One World Edition. Fusebill supports additional scenarios as well, such as if you want to leverage creating a Fusebill sandbox and associate it to a NetSuite sandbox. This enables Fusebill to fully support the company versus individual types of NetSuite accounts, as well as support both business-to-business and business-to-consumer relationships. In the field mappings area, you have complete control to map Fusebill fields to NetSuite customer fields. This gives you the ability to create new customers in your NetSuite instance whenever they're required. You can map different Fusebill fields to different NetSuite fields, and you can even map and bring in any specific custom NetSuite fields. This functionality is especially useful if you have custom mandatory fields created on your NetSuite customers. You need to be able to populate them in order to create a customer. Clients of One World may also require multi-subsidiary support for their NetSuite instance. With the integration, they can map fields directly to the subsidiary field. This enables them to create customers and flag that they belong to different subsidiaries. The caveat is that all other entities created will need to be supported for all the subsidiaries that need to be supported on your behalf. In the entity mapping area, you can go through and set and identify which entities need to be used to work with your NetSuite instance. Examples might include your default accounts receivable ledger or your bad debts ledger. You need to create a couple of supporting items in your Fusebill and NetSuite items to allow for the support of discount and time, as well as the default item to use for all charges. Fusebill also allows you to associate all your different Fusebill products to corresponding NetSuite items within the product mapping area. This is important because it allows for the creation of invoices in your NetSuite that have a breakdown by line item. One of the primary use cases for this is if you're using simple and serialized inventory items. You want to ensure those items are decremented. Another important use case for mapping corresponding items is if you wish to use NetSuite's revenue recognition module. It's important to create the right items if you intend to have NetSuite take over your revenue recognition automatically. Within the NetSuite application, under Customizations, Suite Bundler, you'll see the list of various integrations. One of these is the NetSuite to Fusebill integration. It's a managed package, so you can quickly and easily upgrade to the most recent version and keep it in sync. Note that Fusebill works with you to set up all of the tax settings, permissions, and connection settings to associate your Fusebill account with your NetSuite instance. Fusebill also works with you to create certain key items needed for general processing. Most of these are handled by the Fusebill discount and Fusebill tax, and then a generic that your company defines, such as a subscription type of item. Let's look at a customer. Here's an example of one that came from the Fusebill application. When a customer is created in your Fusebill, a corresponding customer is created in your NetSuite instance. On the related list, if you have Fusebill's package installed, you'll see the Fusebill customer, and you'll see what fields are in Fusebill for them. In these sub-related lists, you'll also be able to see the subscription or subscriptions for that customer, as well as their current status. Under Invoices, you can see any that have been issued on the Fusebill side, including their current status and whether they've been paid. The true power of the integration is the ability to create corresponding entities inside of NetSuite. The most important of those is the invoice entity. The invoices are named with a unique number that matches your Fusebill output directly. There's a direct correlation in that invoice numbering convention. Let's look at some real Fusebill products mapped to real NetSuite items as line items on an individual invoice. This invoice shows tracked items. When an item is a serialized inventory product or a serialized inventory item in NetSuite, and it's associated to a Fusebill product that uses tracked items. A lot of very specific information can be pushed to NetSuite. The tracked item in Fusebill generates an entry on the invoice. The unique serial number that's part of the unique reference on the tracked item will appear here. This is how Fusebill can automate decrementing serialized inventory automatically in the invoices sent across to NetSuite. Important functionality for Internet of Things businesses. Under any invoice, you can always review the general ledger impact of that entity. Here, you see the general ledger impact of having created an invoice in your NetSuite that has serialized items. You see a debit to accounts receivable, a credit to sales, a debit to cost of goods sold, and the inventory asset will get credited out. This is all automated. The automatic collection that occurs in Fusebill will automatically sync across to NetSuite. The payments get created and they auto-allocate. And if you do adjustments like credit memos for reversals or write-offs, you get corresponding entries as well. Here, you see Fusebill processing a payment, placing entries into the undeposited funds ledger, and ensuring it's coming out of the accounts receivable. In the case of a credit memo, you'll see the general ledger impact and how it operates within the ledgers. General ledger impact is a great tool to show the ledger moves corresponding to various NetSuite entities. Let's review the monthly closing part of the process. Within your Fusebill catalog, it's useful to be able to work with your accounting team in advance to create different general ledger codes for all the income buckets you want to track in your NetSuite. If you want to segregate your income into 3 or 4 different buckets, you create 3 or 4 general ledger codes. You then assign those codes to your individual products, enabling you to make use of the reporting revenue by general ledger code report in Fusebill. For example, if you were closing your books for January 2020, you could run the dataset for 1 month and see a breakdown. This is the total amount of money that needs to be moved from the deferred revenue ledger to the earned revenue ledger. If everything has been done properly, this will be a breakdown of your income ledgers in NetSuite. Fusebill gives you a nice way to display the data by the individual ledgers you might need to move. You'll see how much you need to move to recognize revenue and how much you need to move from your deferred discount to your actual discount expense ledger. This approach is used by many Fusebill clients. An alternate approach is to run the data for the last month and export it to get a reconciliation report. That report gives you a transaction-by-transaction breakdown showing which ledgers got debited and credited. This is incredibly granular data and even shows when you recognize revenue or accrue discount expenses for every individual day. You quickly and easily use a reconciliation report to create pivot tables inside of Excel. The pivot table Fusebill recommends gives a breakdown by transaction type because each transaction type supported by your Fusebill platform will apply a debit or a credit to a corresponding ledger. Once complete, you can use the filtering capabilities if you're only interested in earning and earning discount type entries. Fusebill handles all the other transaction types for you and pushes them to NetSuite. This is a good approach if you just want to handle the movement of money from deferred revenue to earned revenue and the movement of money from deferred discount to earned discount. You then transpose this information into a manual journal push file. Identify the various journals that correspond to your NetSuite instance, and you get your numbers from either of the reporting options discussed. You can specify an effective date, which would usually be the end of the month. And if you are a multi-subsidiary, you don't need to provide that as part of the import. This file template is basically all you need, and the level of detail you want to provide is up to you. When you have all of that, it's very simple in NetSuite to go to the Transactions, Financials, Make Journal Entries import area. Once everything is formatted, which Fusebill can help you with for your first month closing, you simply upload the file. NetSuite gives you a confirmation for the field-by-field mapping. Then you run that file, and it will move the money that needs to be moved. All of this is predicated on the assumption you set the income amount of items you created in your NetSuite in the Accounting sub-tab to a deferred revenue ledger. This enables the money to pool there. If all of your NetSuite items are all going to one bucket, You can safely rely on the journal entry methodology. If you are using NetSuite's revenue recognition module, this process shows the deferred and earned revenue ledgers. You map them here, and you won't need to close with Fusebill's rubric. You just need to create the line items properly and let NetSuite do the rubric. Your Fusebill platform is designed to automate the recurring billing of your customer base as much as possible and to handle high volatility ledgers throughout the course of the month. It's also an ideal tool to manage customers with cycling subscription entities. Fusebill is independent of having invoices with big, long payment schedules, which is how you would have to run your recurring billing in an ERP application like NetSuite. Fusebill enables you to make mid-period changes on a subscription entity and automatically output invoices. One of the biggest differentiators of the Fusebill platform is that Fusebill is based on a dual-entry ledger system. This allows Fusebill to communicate seamlessly with accounting platforms like NetSuite and QuickBooks Online. Fusebill speaks accounting, so it can handle pushing all of the information to these accounting platforms by applying debits and credits to various ledgers, a universal language they accept. You gain the benefits of having Fusebill to manage the day-to-day recurring billing of your customers with a focus on important tools that can be used by your billing clerks. For example, Fusebill offers payment method warning, aging receivables, and calendar tools. You also have the benefit of getting all of the data correctly replicated in your accounting platform without requiring human interventions, which can lead to entry errors and further problems. Once you're up and running, you'll be able to see a high-level view of your Fusebill to NetSuite integration from an overview screen. This screen helps controllers review the various types of transactions involved in the integration, so they can ensure everything that's supposed to sync between Fusebill and NetSuite does so with success. The Fusebill team would love to answer your questions or discuss unique billing situations that your business has to manage. Our billing experts have years of expertise with NetSuite and are looking forward to providing you with the best solutions for your business. Book a meeting with our billing specialists today. Ignite your growth.